Everybody welcome. Last instant reaction of the season.
Great hand motion, Trey. Great.
Oh, what a night. What a night. Yet another indignity forced upon you, the Florida State fan, by these players, this coaching staff, and this administration. Florida State somehow finds a way to save their worst performance of the season, and I'm even including the Stanford game in that. 40-21 loss to the now 4-8 Florida Gators. Got out-physicaled, manhandled, brutalized on the ground. Just an insane level of effort in a game when you were the only one that had anything to play for. Your head coach was coming back with a vote of confidence. You were playing for the bowl game. You were playing to win a road game for the first time in a millennia. And you came out and against a 3-8, now 4-8 team with an interim coach. You lacked composure. You lacked discipline. You looked completely uncoordinated. And Florida just, frankly, they rammed it down your throats. I think the kid Jaden Ball set a record for number of rushing yards against Florida State, which is psychotic. You let a 3-8 Florida team running back set a record in one of the most storied rivalries in all of college football. And think about some of the other running backs that UF has had, that you have had to face at Florida State. Boys, an all-around embarrassing effort and once again, no bowl game for Mike Norvell and the Florida State Seminoles. So this is going to be the lasting image that you have to sell on the trail.
Little known fact, Trey. Little known fact. Mike Norvell has more losses to Florida interim head coaches, or equal losses to Florida interim head coaches as he does bowl games. He's got 2 losses to an interim head coach from Florida, and he's got 2 bowl games under his belt at Florida State. What a record!
The statistical anomalies keep anomalizing, brother.
Trey, what are we going to talk about here, man? At this point, you just continue to embarrass yourself. This administration has just told you, as a fan of this program, that you are just eat it. Just eat it. Just absolutely eat it, because that's what you're about to do for the next year of your fandom for this freaking program. And they have left you high and dry. It's been said time and time again since the freaking promise note after Stanford. It's been said since they committed to this jabroni for another year. Man, what the hell are we doing?
Well, I think one thing that highlights it, Kev, before we kick it to you, is that even though Florida they have a worse record than you, I don't think they had a worse season after tonight. But the guy who's taken over Florida is in a way better spot than what Mike Norvell is going to have to do for Florida State. You saw Florida. You saw them kick your ass in the trenches. You actually saw freshman cornerbacks for Florida, playing and making an impact. They look just much better suited for the next guy. And a lot of it's due to the philosophical differences that departed Florida head coach Billy Napier had versus roster construction than what you had. And man, it really reared its ugly head tonight, Kev, for a game that Florida didn't really do anything well on the season. And it was the ineptitude of FSU's run game against them was really shocking. They didn't do anything on offense other than, of course, Deuce Robinson. And then, of course, when the game was out of reach, LaWayne McCoy went total sicko mode. And that, once again, great, but that's an advertisement for other teams to come poach you. That's what I'm worried about. This is the lasting statement that you have given both high school recruits for early signing day, the transfer portal people, potential new coaches, front office people that you want to help revamp your front office. It's a very concerning thing knowing that Mike Norvell is our head guy going forward. But Kev, what did you think about the game? A lot of negative to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the past few weeks, I think we've all kind of been feeling this Like, if they lose, it's not the end of the world because, maybe that means that we're going to get some fresh faces and like a fresh leader to this organization. Yeah, they've called our bluff,
Gotcha.
They said, yeah, no, I don't care how many times you lose. No, this Florida team's not very good. I mean, their offense is frankly, shoot, F plus had them at the 80th best offense in the country. They clearly couldn't throw the ball every time they dropped back. I'd actually be curious to see. I might look this up later. I think they had negative EPA every time they dropped back. It was either a sack or an interception. They had a few completions down the field.
Before tonight, right?
No, I mean, even tonight, I don't think they were very successful throwing the ball, and it did not matter. It did not matter. At some point in the second half, Florida just decided, yeah, I don't think we don't even have to throw the ball. We're just going to run the ball right down your throat. And there was nothing to do to stop it because, I mean, the announcers said it themselves. They said, oh, well, FSU's got no edge to this defense. That's what they said. No. Yeah, there's no defensive ends. There's no one that you can trust to play defensive end. There's a guy who's been waffling between tight end and defensive end. There's another guy who's just the softest run defensive end I've ever seen. And neither of them are able to contain a run on any level. And guys can just bounce right off the C gap and you're done, There's nothing to do. Alabama did it in the first drive of the game. Florida of the season. Florida did it in the last game of the season. Just run right off the CD gap, wherever the defensive end is. Just run right at them, and you'll be able to get that edge. You could block them with the tight end for all anybody cares. They're not going to be able to do anything because you've whiffed on every defensive end that you've gone for out of the high school ranks for years now. And, the past 2 years, you've been unable to replicate the Jermaine Johnson and the Jared Verse anomalies that were anomalies to just be able to get NFL prospects at the defensive end position on a losing team in the ACC. Like, that's not something that they were able to continue doing. And now you have no true defensive ends. Teams took advantage of it. What are you going to do? The problem is that FSU's roster isn't untalented. There's players on this roster.
Yeah,
the problem is that it's unbalanced. It's that you've missed at important positions over the years, and now teams just have answers for you. Teams can stop you whenever they want. They can run whatever they want. Well, they can't run whatever they want, but they can always get yards by running at your defensive ends. They can always consistently move the ball, slowly hold on to the ball, hold on to the clock, and run the clock out. We've seen it the past 2 years. Teams just bleed clock against FSU's defenses, and it's because they have no edge. It's because they have no edge, and the linebackers aren't good enough to make up for it. And they're just a poorly constructed roster at this point.
Yeah, they have no edge in the sense that they have no edges, and they have no edge in the sense that they have no edge. Like, they don't hit anybody. They're soft. Florida ran it 45 times for 272 yards. This was not an explosive running attack. This was, I'm going to hammer you into the ground, get my running back one-on-one with your linebackers, and watch them either whiff, or I'm just going to run them over and get a free 6 or 7. Like, it was a very... Florida played you with no respect. Like, they just knew that they were going to bully you. They did bully you. You were undisciplined. And Adam, what did you just think of the general lack of respect that Florida had for you, which is, we've kind of seen that in the past. NC State played you the same way, where there was no real sense of urgency on their end. These were teams that were playing Florida State, but they didn't look like players that were playing Florida State. They didn't feel tight. They were playing you very confidently, and we've seen that 2 games in a row. I mean, what was the most striking aspect of what you saw tonight, Adam? Was it Florida's offensive success, or was it the 12 guys on the field again? Florida State's offense not being able to get yards in obvious rundown situations. There were so many things that were shocking. Well, not shocking because we've seen it all year. There's so many things that were disappointing. Which one really stood out to you, Adam?
I mean, I would say we've seen it since game 3, truthfully. We've seen teams. I mean, and I'm talking game 3. Remember who game 3 was? That was Kent State. Even Kent State found ways to attack this defense. If we really think back to it, and obviously it ended up being a blowout. But yeah, I mean, Kent State found ways, and they felt like they had an actual game plan to attack this defense, and they executed some against you. Now, small samples, obviously, because it's Kent State, but we just saw a carryover after Kent State. It was Virginia, and then from Virginia it went to whatever. Pitt.
Oh, Miami. It went to Miami, then it went to Pitt, and then
and in the beginning of the season, it was okay. Everybody's just going to run mesh against you, and then it became okay. Not even you don't even just have to run mesh against this team. You can really just do whatever you want, score points. We saw even Stanford do that, for God forbid. Yeah, I mean, UF wants to play a physical brand of football. I mean, they're an SEC team. They take pride in being an SEC program, and they think that anything, and this is kind of an SEC mindset, anything that's not the SEC just physically can't match up, and they carry that on the field today. For all the talk about, oh, these players love Mike, they support Mike, they're behind. These guys have had so many opportunities to go to bat for Mike Norvell with their play on the field, not their words in the post-game press conferences and during the week press conferences. And not once have they shown up and shown that they actually want to go bat physically for Mike Norvell.
No, and it's been a physical play for your. It's been a play for your coach scenario since Stanford, and there has not been
others. Yeah, since Pitt, even
that's true. Yeah,
time and time again, and the actions just speak so much differently than the words. I can't tell you how many times we've heard Tommy Castellanos talk about, we love our head coach. We love, he's almost pulled the TO. That's my head coach. Go play like it, because you haven't.
Sit-ups in the driveway.
You haven't since game one against Alabama, and an Alabama team that was injured, and obviously you had to have shown some guts to beat that Alabama team in that game. But you haven't shown any guts since then. And that goes for a lot of guys. But again, so many of these guys just week after week get up at that press conference and talk about how much they love their Mike Norvell. I've always been a believer that actions speak louder than words. And the actions of this team just have never said, we've got our guys back. So, yeah, I mean, if you're, back to your original question, if you're a team lining up and you're watching the tape of these guys, speaking to what I was just talking about, if you're a team scouting this team, you see a team that just they don't care. They don't want to be there. They're not fighting hard, playing and play out for their coach and for their teammates and all that. So why would you not just run right at them? Why would you not attack their manhood? Because they haven't proven on the field that they have the gumption or the fortitude to stand behind that. That's just not what they've shown on tape. So if I'm Florida or any other team, I'm attacking them. I'm going right at them and saying, okay, is this going to be the week that you guys want to stand up and fight, or are you going to eventually shoot yourselves in the foot as you always do?
And that's not a talent thing. You might could argue that, Florida's got good trench recruiting and development, so maybe this is the strength of their team, whatever. No, think back to the Virginia game. Virginia sat there for a drive that they needed when their quarterback was injured, and they ran like 10 straight runs down your throat. Virginia's not dominating. Virginia doesn't have better strength and development staff. They don't have better recruiting in the trenches. They wanted that more than you. They competed more, they executed better, and did it for a whole drive. And it hasn't just been them, it's been Pitt, it's been Miami, it's been Florida, it's been NC State. It's been every time you go on the road, you've been unable to hold the defensive line.
And then Tommy Castellanos, I appreciate the honesty, I guess, but what did he say? He said something that they were they're nervous on the road. They get nervous, they feel tight, especially in the red zone. It's a thing that is very, and I'd like to have you guys comment on this. One of the benefits of taking away the play calling duties from Mike Norvell this season is so that he could focus on the other factors that are important in team performance: game management, clock management, emotional management, preparation, the emotion on the sideline. Those have all I don't know if I want to say have gotten worse from 2024 because 2024 was abysmal, but for the amount of investment, for the amount of roster upgrades, because I do feel like the 2025 team was more talented than the 2024 team. The level of the things that Mike Norvell he's been asked to do less, but all of the stuff that he said he was going to be concerned with, all those things that I mentioned, has been done at a much lower level. The penalties, the lack of composure, the tightness, the timidity, the losing plays, the drops from one of your most talent, like Usman Kroma, not picking on the kid, one of the most talented guys, arguably the most talented guy in the entire roster, a guy who one of his strengths coming out of high school was his hands. Wide open. It's just, I don't know. All of the things that were supposed to get better because we gave Mike Norvell less responsibility have gotten worse. What did you guys think of what do you guys think of that? And what do you guys just think of the game plan coming in, the coaching job? Like, what did you think about how the way that Mike Norvell decided to attack Florida tonight?
I mean, I think it's kind of embarrassing. You get out there, your first drive, Florida was able to scheme up two different stunts that got guys unblocked off the edge in your first 3 plays. I mean, dude, they're working with the interim staff. I mean, they were scouting you better than you were scouting them. And then they turn around and drive it down the field, getting some easy looks. So, I mean, the script right off the bat was more in their favor than it was in yours. And I mean, that's not a good sign when you're going against a skeleton crew over on the other side of the field. That should be big advantage you. You should be able to beat their script, you know? So that's a bad look.
I agree. Yep, 100%.
I don't know. They weren't prepared. It felt like Florida had a good beat on what you were doing, what you couldn't do, and you didn't really have a great game plan against them. I mean, as much as I think Gus's offense can put up yards and can put up stats, and when it works, it works. I think one of the problems is that it doesn't adjust to different defenses. It looks the same no matter who they're playing, and it didn't adjust. And when things don't work, things just kind of stutter and lose any sort of momentum. And you just didn't really look prepared, just like they haven't looked prepared for any road game.
And they're 0 on the road, right? They've won 0 road games this year, correct?
In 2 years.
Like 2 years. Correct.
Sick.
2 years.
That's great. Adam, coaching wise, why is there a lack of preparation for road games? Like what is it? I'm trying to get to like the core of what is like degrading this man as a head coach, a guy who used to be successful, has been successful here. If he's our guy riding like from now until whenever we can afford to get him out, which I tell you what, he's testing the limits on if a vote of confidence has ever been recalled like 1 week later. Like he was really pushing the limits of that. I don't expect that. But Adam, what do you think are the things that are going wrong with why this team is so ill prepared on the road? And can they be fixed with different people around him? Or is this just what we're going to have to deal with year in and year out?
It's just a systemic issue throughout your program. And this isn't anything that's going to get fixed until he's gone. Not to say you won't win a road game at some point again, but I mean, the odds are kind of on your side to win at least one at some point again.
Can we pay an FCS team to host us on?
Yeah, dude, can we go to like Delta Valley State or whatever just to win a road
You're
game?
not having trouble they have trouble communicating at home too. Like they have trouble getting the right guys on personnel on the field at home. So that's not the problem. That's not just a road thing. This team's just bad. It's bad, poorly coached. I don't think the strength and conditioning or the nutrition is great. I think the strength and conditioning is okay, but we've talked about the nutrition. The nutrition aspect of it doesn't look like it's very good. You don't have enough talent. I mean, you have talent to beat like Virginia at Virginia or NC State, a bad NC State at NC State. You have enough talent to beat them, but
don't have the coaching for that. Yeah,
correct. So it just jumble it all up, throw some shit at the wall and see what sticks, because likely all of it's true. I know people out there are probably saying, well, coach, I mean, like, give me a real answer.
You're not going to get that either.
No, you're not, because in the reality is this team's just ass. This coaching staff's just ass. Like,
big ol' ass.
What it doesn't take a rocket science to look at this and watch this product and say, just one thing they're missing. No. It's crystal clear that there's a systemic issue throughout this entire administration, organization, program that is the problem.
How you suck at anything is how you suck in everything.
I mean, like, bro, he's turning around, giving googly eyes or mean eyes at Terrence Knighton, after the 12 man on the field. You're in game 12. How haven't you solved that problem, CEO? Guess what happens if you have that problem in the real world? Your ass gets fired.
It's true. It is true at this point. Like the looks of confusion, the death eyes, it's all played out at this point. So I guess, guys, we can talk more about the game if you want. They just got beat handily. They got beat everywhere. They got beat in every phase. You were out schemed. You were out prepared. You were out physicaled. Like it was a true one-sided ass whooping from a bad team, a bad rival that also cared about it more than you, while you were trying to play for a bowl game and play for your newly, like, this is your guy head coach. But where do we go from here? I mean, what do we have? Obviously it seems like the gutter, but that's not where we're going. This is Mike Norvell's your guy. So Adam and Kev, what do you want to see? What do you want to see in the offseason? Not that you're gonna see it, but if you could, what do you want to see that's also realistic? Kev, what do you want to see that's realistic? Like, and that could be anything, like portal, high school, new coaches, coordinators, front office. What do you want to see that's within the realm of possibility that could maybe start to make this thing at least not embarrassing anymore?
Look, I don't care if the Cookie Monster is the head coach of Florida State. I don't give a crap who the head coach of Florida State is, as long as they're winning football games. And clearly it's not working with Mike Norvell.
Yeah.
I think if you're optimistic, what you do is you say, oh, look at Texas Tech. I think they got like Joey from Friends as their head coach. No one knows. It doesn't matter.
I think his name is Joey. Yeah.
Joey McGuire, I think is his name.
Yeah, Tribbiani.
Yeah, Tribbiani. So they got the Friends cast over there as their coaching staff. No one cares, but they're going to the playoffs as the top 5 team in the country because, well, they spent a lot of money getting a really good roster and getting good players and building a really good team. So the optimist says, well, let's not spend the money on replacing the coaching staff because no one, over there at Texas Tech, they're kind of proving that you don't really need an elite coaching staff to have an elite football team. So what if we just use that money instead and invested heavily and bought just one crazy roster? I mean, Miami's down there. They got a guy that I don't even think can tie his own shoes in the morning. And, they're winning 10 football games, and so because he knows how to recruit, he knows how to bring in talent, and they have money backing him. So the optimist says, well, let's use that money, build a really good roster, and just tell Mike Norvell to go to therapy or something. The pessimist says that this team was talented enough to beat Alabama. Was talented. Like, bad teams don't beat Alabama.
The talent prerequisite. That's the scary part, is that they actually had at least an 8 or 9 win talented team, and they just undercoached it to death, right?
Right. The pessimist says they had talent. The pessimist says they were able to beat Alabama, and bad teams don't beat playoff caliber Alabama teams. I don't care what you say. Like, Kent State isn't going to walk in and beat that Alabama team. I don't think 9 or 10 teams on our schedule this year could have beat that Alabama team on their best day. Alabama's worse, right? Something clicked, and there is talent there, and they flubbed it hard. And so that's the pessimistic take, is that somehow, some way, Mike Norvell is handicapping this team well beyond even what Joey Tribbiani can do. Like, he's got it figured out on a level that Mike Norvell doesn't. And Mike Novell's actively hurting whatever roster you put together.
So how do you, Adam, it's an interesting question because it would seem like Kev's two-pronged approach would be acquire an insane level of talent and then figure out a way to lessen the influence of a guy you're paying $10 million a year to lead that talent, both of which I agree with. So how do you give Florida State better players and also tell the guy who's supposed to manage it to go play Roblox or something in a different room? I don't understand.
I don't know. Like I asked the question immediately after they put out the support letter, email, bullcrap that is Mike Norvell going to have say in that decision? Because I mean,
like the front office stuff, you mean?
Yeah. Is he going to be picking and choosing? Because his track record for picking and choosing is not exactly stellar right now.
No.
So, and if he doesn't, is that person now Mike Norvell's boss? You know, as far as the roster and telling him what it needs to look like. And then if that's the case, is Mike Norvell going to believe in it? And what's that look like? Because if he doesn't believe in it, then how does he coach it? So this is a mess, man.
Yeah, it really is.
Serious mess. So I mean,
what do you do? Hot shot pop quiz.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to 13,
you
go back to 13-0 and you look at that, and you got to try to replicate what you did then, but it just, that feels like such a long time ago. I think you've got to fire this entire staff outside of Mike. And I think you need to collectively with the GM. Okay. So if I was Michael Alford and firing Mike Norvell was off the table, I think the first thing I would do is I would hire a general manager. And I would let Mike Norvell understand that this is the person that is going to be in charge of collaboratively in charge of building your roster.
Okay.
And we're going to give him whatever he needs resource wise, which I don't believe that Mike Alford wants to do. I don't think Mike Alford truly believes in NIL and spending well above the cap.
No, it doesn't seem like it. No,
I think Mike Alford believes in the cap and he wants the cap and that's what he likes. So this is a fantasy part 2 because, I don't think Alford's going to do that. Anyway, I would hire collaboratively with Mike Norvell. I would hire a general manager, and with the understanding that general manager is going to be in charge of the day-to-day operations of roster management. They're going to have the scouting under their umbrella, all those things, all talent acquisition, all scouting, all roster management. It's going to be under him, sort of the NFL model.
Yep.
To an extent. And then collaboratively, that general manager and Mike Norvell are going to go hire a coaching staff. They're going to hire one that fits the modern college football landscape. I don't believe, even though I'm a huge Gus Malzahn fan, I don't believe that the Gus Malzahn way of offense is best suited for college football anymore.
I think this year has shown that over and over and over again, particularly on the road, 100%.
So I think that there's got to be a lot of collaboration here. This can't just be the Mike Norvell show anymore. And they can throw words like comprehensive and all these things. There needs to be a true, legitimate collaboration of getting a strong general manager in here. And that general manager needs to have a very strong background in football and player acquisition and scouting and all those things. And then those two together really need to work hard to building a good staff that is strength is player development. It needs to be player development and not, they don't need to be strong recruiters. They need to be player development people. And the general manager's job is going to be to figure out how to get the recruiting aspect of it done. Obviously you've got to work around a lot of the, the visits and the calls and all that nonsense. But I think you can probably do that if you get somebody in there that has an actual plan or can develop a plan. So that's how I would go about it. Man, there is a 1 in a billion shot that this works out. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work out okay either. No, so I think what I would like to see is it's not going to work out okay. Like there's no historical precedent. Like the teams get worse. Like it's gotten worse. It's not going to, I don't know. Ed Gein, oh my God, what are you saying?
JC ain't getting this one done
Oh
either.
my God. So my deal is I think Florida State should just focus on building a foundation into structure that will clearly outlast the person who's the head coach that is right now. Yeah. And I think if that includes with the new athletic director that is part of that new foundation, cool with me.
Yeah.
They need to build something that is going to stand the test of time and something that isn't so sensitive to whoever the head coach is. Obviously, a head football coach is going to be very important. Head football coaches are important in the NFL, but they're not as important in the NFL as they are in college football right now. And I would like Florida State to start building something that takes advantage of the unique benefits and the unique attributes of the Florida State University football program. I want something to be built that can outlast this guy who is just, he's here until we can afford to tell him to leave, right? So I don't.
Big problem.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. I don't even know if the coaching staff thing, I don't know if I keep throwing good money after bad. It might, to me, I would want to build the foundation and just say, hey, Mike, if you want, like, fire whoever you want, but it's all going to have to be internal promotions, and we're not going to do guaranteed money, and we're not going to do long-term. And, I mean, the administration is already telling fans that they're going to have to eat it next year anyway, and maybe another year after that. At least do something good out of it and build something that can last for the next guy, right? I don't know, guys. I don't know, because this, you know who's going to be your head salesman, right? It's going to be Mike Norvell. That has been taken care of for you. And this is the last thing that he's got to sell people. This is the last thing that he's got to sell people. And we talked about it all during this week. Now you know why, even though it was a comprehensive year-end review, why they rushed to get the statement out before this week. Because could you imagine putting that memo out tomorrow after this?
It couldn't have been any worse. It couldn't be any worse than what. I mean, you just lost at NC State. It can't be any worse, right?
This is worse than that. This is so much worse.
You lost Stanford.
Because now, and I think you'll see a little bit of a different change too. Because there is not the people that we're talking to, but there is the casual, maybe older component of some of the people that just like they'll watch the big games, just kind of read the headlines. Well, a lot of those people live in the state of Florida, and a lot of those people are either related to or they're in close proximity to UF fans that are now going to give them shit for the next 365 days. So this is where you might start to get where that kind of that outrage, that apathy that we were talking about, that is maybe a leading indicator in like the Noles 24/7 fan base and us three talking here, our close friends. Now you start to have sort of that lagging apathy and anger, like, wait a damn minute. 40-21? How many games did Florida win this year? And then they're also getting smacked around at the water cooler, which I don't even know if that's a thing anymore in offices, by their colleagues. This might be where that, like, hey, what's going on here? And that where I wonder what sort of support they're going to have financially in the offseason from the backers now. It'll be interesting to see. You can already tell, like, Florida State's starting to dip into, like, the JUCO prospects for early signing day. And,
we're just filling numbers at this point.
Yeah, it's not good.
I like the comments of people that are like, well, if you get a GM that does all these things and an OC that's calling plays and whatever, then what's Mike Norvell's job going to be? Just to sit there and collect a paycheck? And
hopefully, yeah.
It should be pretty telling that our best case scenario is that Mike Norvell has as little say in the program as possible.
Yeah, right now, and I can't believe I'd ever say that after a couple years ago, but there's just something that I don't know, and it's just, you see it this year. The stuff that he has been in charge of, this is his worst year ever at those things. Like, this is his worst game management year. This is his worst clock management year. This is his worst substitution year. This is his worst, like, energy on the sideline year. Like, and those are the things that were supposed to take up the majority of his focus, time, and attention, and they're all awful. And what more to say after that? Florida State, I mean, right? Kind of. We know what we are.
Here's the tough part. I don't want to just continue to beat a dead horse. We've beat
no.
The notes, the promise note for the comprehensive evaluation to the note that we're going to keep him for another year. At this point, we owe it to the people that do tune in. I mean, there's 3,900 people in here to try to be honest about everything that we see.
Love you guys.
While also, while also just being realistic. The three of us are fans. We're fans. We get to analyze and try to talk about it with Noles 24/7, but we're fans at the end of the day. And this pisses all of us off as much as it does everybody else. But, at some point, there just needs to continue to be a light shown on the administration, and that needs to become the focus now. Not Mike Norvell anymore. Not the football program. The little part of the football program. The big picture for the football program needs to be the talking point at this point. Because how serious are we? Is this something that we're going to get back to wanting to be legitimate about, or are we content? I mean, in 2 or 3 years, the realistic conversation is going to be, are you going to the Big Ten, the SEC, or are you staying in the ACC and just being irrelevant forever?
Yeah, and I'm with you. So I'm not mad at Mike. I mean, he's just he knows that he's not. He knows in his heart of hearts he deserves to be fired. Like, he knows that he's not doing the job that he was contracted to do.
And he's being honest about it. He's saying, hell no, we haven't met the standard.
Exactly. So I'm not mad at him. And I'm not going to be mad at him, dude. Like, I'm not mad. Like, people get hired to do jobs all the time, and sometimes they succeed and sometimes they're not good at it. So I'm not mad at him anymore. But what I am going to do, to Adam's point, is the administration said that we're going to keep this guy, but we're going to do all these other things. We're going to obtain elite talent, and we're going to retain elite talent, and we're going to build this crazy front office structure. We're going to do all this and that. Okay. Well, you damn sure better do that. That's what I'm going to hold accountable for. You need to do that. So I'm going to start holding them accountable for those things, because if those things don't happen, then we can start having the big picture stuff. Like the day in, day out at Noles 24/7, we're going to keep analyzing it. Like, early signing days coming up, we're going to analyze the quality of player bringing in. We're going to analyze the quality of player they missed out on. We're going to talk about the transfer portal. The transfer portal is still going to be crazy. It's going to be even more crazy for Florida State because they're going to have so many starter level players to replace. So we're going to keep analyzing that for you the same way we always have this year, the year before, and in perpetuity. That's what we're going to keep doing for you. But I'm with Adam. When I start talking about big picture stuff again, it's not really related to the head guy anymore. Like, if he makes some boneheaded, like if he gets mopped up on the recruiting trail, we're going to point that out. If next year he makes boneheaded, like, in-game decisions, we'll talk about that. But to me, I'm looking at big picture. Like, you're keeping this guy because you said you're going to do all this other stuff. Now I got to see you do all the other stuff. And that's what my focus is going to be on the offseason. Kev, anything from you before we mercifully let our fans go after
another season in the books?
It is, guys. Another one this is what, our fourth now?
With Noles 24/7, this is our 6th total. Hard to believe, boys.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think you have one transfer portal this year.
Yep.
Right, it's June 2nd, or January 2nd to whatever, 16th. You have one transfer portal. We will see in January how serious they are about winning football games next year. That's it. There's no post-spring portal. There's no nothing. How aggressive are you at building a roster? And unfortunately, Mike Norvell has refused to build a roster from the ground up through high school recruiting, through building a foundation. And that means that you have to do the portal thing again. And this year's no different, because this class isn't going to turn around and be some elite high school class. We're going to see in January whether or not this team is serious about winning in 2026. And it's going to be pretty obvious.
I agree. I totally agree. So all eyes will be there. All eyes will be on player acquisition. And all of your eyes should be on Noles247.com. I think they're running a pretty sweet promo right now. Get in on that. We love you guys. We're going to be there in the forums. Thank you. This is our 12th instant reaction of the year. Thank God this one's over at a reasonable hour this time.
Yeah,
We've done instant reactions. We've done live streams of games. Guys, we are going to be here with you, our people, giving you the content that you need. I think that there's actually going to be a lot of offseason content to analyze because I think there's going to be a lot of change in, out, churn, all that sort of stuff. And we're going to be here to analyze it for you. I just want to say for Adam, for Kevin, for myself, thank you guys. Like, the games, 7 of them have been real bad. But every time that we get to talk to you guys on a Saturday night, it's a highlight for me. So just thank you guys for coming, tuning in, and just we'll see you on Noles247.com, and we'll see you back here on a video. It just won't be analyzing any games of Florida State season because it's over. We love you guys.
Yay!
All right, you son of a guns. You keep chopping. We'll see you on Noles247.com. Love you all.